Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, first of all, happy 2020, and by the time this video comes out, Long Suffering will have already been released. So I think technically today's the release day. It came out last night at midnight, and I stayed up with you guys and watched the premiere and went through the comments with you all, and the response is just so great. So thank you so much for being there and enjoying that premiere with me. So today I just wanted to talk about I kind of want to talk about like New Year's goals, and like I didn't really do much over Christmas. Like I had a Christmas cover that I did last year and I kind of promoted that a little bit, but for me, Christmas was just kind of spent with like my loved ones, and I'm moving in February, so like it was kind of, I don't know, it was like a very special holiday because I just wanted to spend a lot of time with them because I won't get to see them for a while. So I didn't bother filming a whole lot because I just wanted some undivided attention between us and stuff. But today I do want to go over some New Year's stuff and just talk about basically when I reflected on 2019 or whatever, what I evaluated from that year and how I want to change that in 2020. And I'm going to talk about some like more stereotypical like goals and attitude and hard work kind of ambitions, and then there's also like some internal kind of things that I'm trying to work on myself with. So I actually made a list, and this here's my journal, and I find it better when I have a list for you too because I go off so much, like I'm so ADHD like that. I got my lists and so yeah, let's jump into it. My 2019 reflections were that I took a lot for granted in 2019. I feel like I went into 2019 with a lot of expectations, and life just had it that it was kind of just a year of decompressing, and I didn't want a year of decompressing, even if I needed it. I didn't know that at the time. And Cameron and I were gone 130 days last year, which is over 1/3 of the year, and for some reason, like in my head, my perspective was so like fucked up that I literally felt like we had gone nowhere. And like for me, that's a huge part of my everyday life and my month and my year, and that's something I look forward to, is more travel, more destinations, more people. And so I don't know, I think I went into 2019 with a lot of expectations, and it kind of ruined a lot of the year for me. And also I was very depressed last year. I have never really dealt with a lot of depression, maybe off and on, like, but I've never dealt with like massive bouts of depression or like any more than maybe a day. Like normally I just chalk it up to like being my period or something. You know, I had like one summer a couple years ago that was pretty bad, and that's because my dad got diagnosed with a terminal illness, and so that was like obvious, like I knew why that one was happening. And not to drop like a sad bomb on you or anything, but last year I kind of have an idea where that came from, but overall I felt like it was uncharacteristic, and I had some events happen at the beginning of the year that just like threw a wrench in everything, and it was very like emotionally taxing, and I had anxiety last year like fucking crazy. Even when the event was over, like I still had anxiety from it, like this PTSD or something, for months afterwards, and it didn't go away until like maybe October. This shit happened in March. Like it shouldn't have been such a long drawn out process, but I was dealing with a lot of depression and anxiety last year, and I did not know how to verbalize it. I have a hard time even saying that I was going through depression because I always just assume that it's so much worse than what I must be going through, because we all have friends who have talked about taking their life from it, and I'm nowhere near that. I just had a lot of days where I was like crying for no reason and like didn't want to do anything, and the things that would have normally made me happy like didn't satisfy me at all, and it wasn't fair to people around me either, and so it was like that whole thing. Anyway, I will say that it's pretty much resolved itself at this point for the most part. You know, even if I just have to make a conscious effort to do different things, I feel like I'm pretty good now. But that being said, I started journaling last year, a little late in September, but I started journaling to try and like kind of find patterns in my behavior to see if I could figure out where that was coming from. I found that when I started journaling, I was only writing on the days when I felt at a low point, and so all of my journal entries were like venting and I didn't want that either, so I decided to make it a gratitude book. And so I write like something about the day or whatever's on my mind or whatever, and then I'll write 3 things I'm grateful for and 3 things that are gonna make today great. Because as much as I go back like on my Instagram feed and look at all of the things that I love about my life and my highlight reel type stuff, like it really does make me feel better and make me happier if I'm already happy and happy if I'm unhappy, you know? And doing things like this helps me as well. So when I started journaling, I also wrote all of my New Year's resolutions, goals, that sort of thing inside it. And so on December 31st, I wrote, I'd like to start the new year with a list of things that I'm excited for. And I'm going to read you the whole list. It's long, guys. It says to travel out of the country more, to swim with turtles, to play more shows, writing an amazing record, being braver, being inspired, new friends, balance in my body, more festivals, more tattoos, consistency, spontaneity, direction, experiencing new athleticism, modeling more, taking more photos, travel endorsements, skincare, being more comfortable financially, learning to swim, good sleeps with Cameron, master a handstand, find a way to enjoy parties more, go out of the country 3 times, swim in a waterfall, see the northern lights, do the hard things and always go the extra mile, find my brand and make more weird art. And so like a couple of those, like right off the top of my head, like traveling out of the country 3 times, I tend to wait till the last minute to do those things, and that's when like plane tickets are really expensive and you know, it just makes it harder to do those things. And so I'm just gonna kind of try and plan all of those things earlier. I'm just used to doing things like so spontaneously that I don't ever consider the money aspect of it. Yeah, I am gonna try and travel out of the country more. So before Cameron and I sign our next lease, we're gonna go to Alberta, Canada to see the Northern Lights. We're going to Hawaii and we're gonna camp there for a week or 2. And then I'm going to Ireland next month. And then we'd like to backpack New Zealand later this year. So those are some like, for me, it's just travel and music go hand in hand, and it's just how I stay inspired. So it's kind of like necessary. Things like new athleticism for me, like as much as I love the gym, I have struggled with body image and my relationship with food so much in life that there's kind of this fine line between what I enjoy and what I absolutely like hate and like kind of what feels like baggage. For me, I love the gym because it's like I'm addicted to the endorphin rush. I love to sweat. I like that it's something that only I can do, so I come out of there knowing that I did that for myself. You know, I like that it's kind of a metaphor for life. You know, like you just kind of go in and you get your shit done and you focus, and I don't know, there's just like a million reasons why I like it. Immediate satisfaction, like so many things. But at the same time, like I struggled as a bulimic for a long time and still struggle sometimes, but it's not nearly as bad as it has been. And I kind of just wanted to introduce like a new sport or new skill into my life to kind of, I don't want to say start over, but I don't know, rekindle that relationship that I have with being active, I think. So I really, when I was a kid, my first career like ambition was to be a contortionist in the circus, like doing the silk thing, you know, you see. And I thought about doing pole a long time ago, but this year I want to do hand balancing. So if you follow my Instagram, you see me doing a bunch of handstands and failing miserably, but I'm gonna get there, guys. Those are kind of my goals, I guess, like my things that I can work hard to get. And then the other things are more like self-improvement kind of things, or like social things maybe. And those are to find a way to enjoy parties more. And the reason I say that is because like I don't drink and I don't do drugs, I don't even smoke weed, and I just don't like feeling out of control at all. And most of the time after I've drink or even after I smoke weed, like I just feel groggy, or I feel like I have a lack of energy. Or I think being in the industry or just being in your early 20s, it's just kind of a social thing. Like everyone goes to bars, everyone goes to parties. It's kind of nice to like show your face at places, especially if it's industry. And I would like to know how to like be more comfortable in those situations, because I just find myself like so turned off by the idea of talking to people in a bar where everyone's like yelling and kind of drunk and you can't tell if they're gonna remember what they're saying the next day, or just being the only sober person in a room like that. Or even if it's not that and it's just you're there for 2 hours, like why am I here? And I just want to find a way to like maybe not be so like turned off by the idea and be more comfortable with it, because I kind of just tend to turn that one down a lot. So I want to find ways to like enjoy parties more, whatever that is. Maybe that means bringing like a sober friend with me, or maybe that means, I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna have the social pressure to like get drunk or do drugs or whatever if I don't really feel like I want to, but just find a way to enjoy those things the way I am. That makes sense. Second one is not asking permission so often, because I feel like I'm the kind of person to organize my day around other people's schedules, even if they haven't asked me to, or to like, I don't want to say I care about what they think too much, but I just want to make sure they're comfortable before I'm comfortable. So I'll put myself in a really uncomfortable position to make somebody else happy. And I don't know that that's always bad. I think a lot of it's just polite. Like I'm so self-conscious about like leaving food and dishes out, because like my whole life growing up, my mom would get pissed off because I would leave my food everywhere. And so like now when it's out on the counter, I'm always like, I'm gonna clean that up. But like, I don't think people really care. You know what I mean? Just little things that I think about too much like that I'm just gonna kind of like not do anymore. And then last but not least, playing more shows, because I played my first show in a long time last year in November. I played Emo Night LA, and yeah, I was a little awkward, but I mean, it wasn't nearly as awkward as I thought it was gonna be, and I sounded fine, and I felt good about it, you know? And I feel like this last year I've really come full circle with a lot of that, because I've been caught between whether I want to travel full-time and like work with endorsements and do film and photo and that sort of thing and see the world, versus if I want to be a touring musician or be a full-time musician or whatever that means to me, and maybe like seek out a record label, and I think I've come full circle with that this last year. And I just came to the conclusion that, you know, not that you can just travel whenever you want to travel, but you can do it at any point in your life, and it's an experience that you can pay for. Things like headlining Coachella, and being, you know, whatever my version of Billie Eilish is, or Halsey, or Paramore, or whatever it is. I can't buy that experience. I just can't. And so that's something I have to work for, and I like a challenge, and I don't know what I would do if for some reason I got, 8 years later in my life and realized that I really wish I had that, because it's something I think about every day. And I mean, I still dance in my living room with a spoon, and that's how I know it's still my calling, if I'm being honest. So I'm really excited about that, and I feel very clear-headed about that. And that doesn't mean I can't travel, and I'm still gonna go places, but it's taken me a long time to wrap my head around it, because I'm a very all or nothing person with anything I do. Yeah, so full circle, and I'm very excited about my 2020, guys. Very excited. Comment below on what your 2020 goals are and what you all want to see in the future. As far as YouTube goes, I am gonna keep posting content. I don't think I'm ever gonna stop, just because this is kind of YouTube's a little nostalgic. It's where I got my start. Also, it's where my largest fan base is, and you are all still active. I do know you're all still active, because YouTube is going around deleting all inactive accounts, and you're all still there, which is really cool. I don't know how much I'm going to be posting covers. I mean, I'll probably post one once a month or something, but I don't really do much on a schedule. It's more just to keep YouTube alive. I never want someone to visit my profile and see my last post being 8 months ago. Because I want people to know that I'm still active, and I appreciate the platform and everything it's done for me. Something else I wanted to ask you about was, I really want this year with you all to have more of a physical engagement, I guess, because I don't feel like I've ever actually had a physical engagement with you guys. I have had like meet and greets and stuff, but they're always like really unplanned and unorganized, and they work out and I get to meet you, but you know, I don't get the physical connection that you might get at like a meet and greet after a show or just playing a show or any of that, because I have been so digital for so long. This year, I want more of that with you. I want more of a physical engagement, and I want to know like what kind of people really follow me, you know, like what kind of people buy my merch, you know what I mean? And on top of that, I'd like to find a new way to digitally engage, so I was wondering what you guys think about like a Facebook group page. I feel like everybody still has Facebook, not everybody has Snapchat or like Instagram and stuff, but everyone has Facebook, so I was wondering if like you all would want to have some sort of Facebook group page for Eliza Grace fans, and I don't think I'd make anybody pay for it or anything, but just a place where we can all like maybe brainstorm, we can talk about life. You know, if it ever got out of hand, then I would just, you know, get rid of it, but I thought it would be a cool idea. Some of my favorite influencers or people have recently done some things like that, and I am part of those groups and I really enjoy it. So, yeah, I don't know, I just think it'd be a way for us to, like, connect and be more, like, down to earth, and not so, like, superficial, because YouTube comments are so, like, yeah, so that's gonna be my conclusion to this video. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next episode. Bye.